Hey guys, Kristian Mischke here, and I'm starting a new series for Blender. It's a 3D modeling program, and here I have Blender 2.72. You can download it at blender.org. I'll have a link in the description for that. So all you gotta do is click here, and you can see the scene. The default scene starts up with a camera, cube, and a light. And yeah, so you can use right click to select, and this is going to be very different than normal. You can change it in the settings by going up to File, User Preferences. I have it down here. Let's see, bring it up here. Going to Interface, into Input, and you can do Select with Left to get a normal field, and then just save User Settings. And I'm going to stick with right because I'm used to that. So yeah, so I'm selecting these with my select tool, and just by right clicking, you might be left clicking if you chose that. You can use the middle mouse button to kind of pan or scroll around and see different perspective of view, like this, and get used to that. You can hold down the Shift key while pressing the middle mouse button, and that pans. That kind of pans from where you are. So, like if I'm looking at the side of the cube, I can pan from the side. And you just drag with middle mouse to look around, get different angles. This is a 3D cursor right here. You can click in different places to put it, and it's not always obvious where you're going to put it, so you kind of have to change the view. You can press this plus button and see the location of the 3D cursor. If you want to get it back to the center of the scene, which is where this cube is, you can just edit these and go into 0, 0, 0, and just pressing tab to go through those quickly. To get rid of this, you can just drag it back like that. The shortcut for that is you can press the N key, and it'll open that like this. You can press the T key to open this side. And when you're pressing buttons in Blender, it really matters what view you're in. So if you're in this view right here, then all the buttons you press will apply to this view. If you're in this little dragger down here, this is the timeline, and this is for video stuff. So if you press buttons down here, then certain things will happen down here. Same with this window. And one cool thing about Blender is you can drag from any side, and you can scale these windows the way you want them to fit your screen. And of course, these three stripes up here in the corner, you can drag across and you get another window, and it duplicates the one you have. This button down here, however, you can choose what kind of window you want. File browser, now moved up here. Timeline, that's the same as this down here. Info, all kinds of stuff, user preferences. You can go through all of the different views. So that's how you do that. And to get rid of it, all you have to do is drag it over, and you'll see the arrow points to which side you want to keep. Or, yeah, which one's covering the other one. So, to delete, you can right-click on object, say for this cube, and just press your delete key. Or you can press X for deleting, and then just click it to confirm, or press Enter to confirm. To add a new thing, you press Shift A, and that'll add. You can also you can also go down here and press add, and then that menu comes up here. Or you can press space and then do add, and then you can type it like add object, and that you can add type in the certain things you want to add. So Shift A is what the common shortcut is. Shift A, and then we can choose what object we want of all of these things. So mesh is the most common, I'd say. And here's our basic cube again, and you see that it spawns it right at the origin. And to get it to the very center, say we want it at the center, then we can press N or click that plus up there to get this menu out. And then press 0, tab 0, tab 0, and go through there. And then that locks it into 0 place. This red bar represents the x-axis, green bar represents the y-axis, and the blue one represents the z. You can drag these arrows to move the object along that axis. Doesn't matter which angle you're at, it'll still drag it along the axis. You can do it like this, and you can position it wherever you want it. Same with the any objects in the scene, even your camera, and so forth. So this is a light, this camera, it's a cube, obviously. And yeah, so let's center that out again. And of course, you can do say I drag it up, you can do Control Z like you would in any other program. You know, undo it, Control Z, you know, that kind of stuff. You can do it again. Yeah. So, there are certain modes in Blender, and this is a 3D view, so there are a few modes in 3D view, and they're right down here. I'm going to go over just these two, object and edit mode. These others are for other kind of things. I can get into more detail later. So object mode is where you have your object, so I can do Shift A and add in another object. Boom. Here's a sphere. So now I have a sphere and a cube. Yay. Join the party. Okay, we can manipulate both of these however we want. And this is object mode, so you can select objects and move them around. That's what you can do here. Say I select the cube by using my selecting tool, and just by right-clicking it for me, or left-clicking it if you changed it in your settings. And click here and go to edit mode. So this is edit mode. It's all highlighted, or object mode when it's the outline is highlighted. You can press tab to switch between these modes. So I'm just pressing it a bunch right now. So object mode, edit mode, object mode, edit mode. And you see that these menus also change as well. So now I'm in edit mode. Remember, I can change it down here. And so I'm selected on the cube, and I can't select anything else. I can only select the cube while in edit mode. So yeah, so these right here represents what you can select. So right now it's on a point, so I can right click on the points of this cube, just like that. Using this, I can select edges, so now you can see that it's got the whole edge and it selects in white. And then with this, I can select faces, so that's a side. So I can do like that, like this. Okay, I can hold Shift like this to select multiple faces. Shift again. I can press here and press Control and go to the bottom face, and it will figure out one of the quickest ways to get down there. And I'll do a bunch of those, like all the way around like that. You can press A, deselects everything, or selects everything. So I just press it again, and it selected the whole cube. Okay, you notice if you have a point select and you select 2 points by holding Shift, it lights up that whole line, and if you select 4 points, it'll light up the whole side. Same with if you do the edge, you do boom, 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 like that. If you do have multiple things selected, one will be highlighted white and the other one won't. So this is like your current selection of the whole thing. And yeah, so that's selecting. Now there are a couple tools you can manipulate this with. So let's go back to face select on here, and you can also shift and you can also shift and click these, so you can do multiple. So I can choose a face and this point, or like that, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to go on to, I'm going to go on to face select. So I can select this face, and you'll see I have the same bars right here, just like in object mode. So let's go back into object mode. You see I can move this object around. Go back into edit mode by pressing tab. I'm doing that. And I'm selecting this face, and I can pull it out, and you can see it stretches the object, just that side of it. And we can move it up, and you get this interesting prism effect. You can move it over, and you can move in all directions. I can undo that, Control Z, Control C, and yeah. I can move it back and around, and then you can see it just stretches it like that. And the cool thing about this is you can move your mouse completely off the screen, and then it snaps back to the other side. So I'm moving it back and forth here. So yeah, you can do that to any face. You can do that to edges. You can move this edge out and up to make the shape look different, or over to make it look even weirder. You can do that to points. You can move one point up, over, and out like that to get weird effects. I'm just pressing Control Z to undo that. And that's the manipulation tool right there. I'll go over some things here. So let's go back to face select mode. Right click on this face, or select this face, and I can move it out like that, but this just stretches this whole side, and say we don't want to do that. So there's this special thing called extrude. So I can press extrude region, and it extrudes it. So basically what it does is it pushes out another layer. So now let me undo that. So first you can see I can just drag it like this, and also dragging, you can press G to grab and it grabs it, and since I'm pressing G to grab it, it's just like I'm doing it on all axes. And if I press X, it'll lock it to the X, right? Press Z, it'll lock it to the Z, which is the blue, remember, it has the color that it is. And if you press Y, it'll lock it to the Y. So that's basically like using these. So just press G and it grabs it. I can press Y to make it go this way, and that was just like grabbing the Y one. I can also grab it and press Shift Z. So now I can not move it on the Z. As you can see that there's no blue line here. I can always right click to make sure that these commands aren't executed. So say I press grab and then I click. That applies what I just did. That applies the grab to it. Press Control C. So I press G and grab it, and then I right click and it undoes it, kind of. So that's how it works. It doesn't complete it. So I can use the shortcut of E to extrude it, and it'll extrude it along the certain axis. If you want to change that axis, you can, type it in, but usually it gets it right the way that you want it. And I can drag this out, and now I have two faces here. And I could just drag this out like normal, and that bends that one. But say I don't want to bend it, I just press E, extrude it again, and you can create interesting shapes like this. That's pretty basic stuff. I'm going to go back to object mode and right click on this sphere, back into edit mode. So now you can see that the sphere is all lit up, and I can't select the cube, which doesn't really look like a cube anymore. Anyway, we have this sphere, and you can see there's a bunch of faces on here. So that's a face, that's a face, that's a face, and all sorts of stuff. And then there's like lines, and go into point mode. There's all these points. Go into object or face mode again. If you press Control and then click on another place, you can see that while you hold Control, it will select all the points or all of the object, I guess, faces, because I'm in face select, to that face. So from here to here. I press Control down to here, continue one from there to here. Now this is current selected one. I go to here, it goes like that. If I choose here, then it will pick a direct path, like up and then over a bit. So I can just keep choosing like this, just to like select all this. Then I could just hold Shift to do individual ones like that. I could extrude this if I wanted to. All the same commands apply to any shape. I can move it out if I just want to move it like this. Now it looks like some weird Death Star. That doesn't look like a Death Star. So yes, those are some options you can do. These are just some basic commands that you can do. And that's pretty much the basics of Blender. Yeah, I'm going to note one more thing. This right here, called proportional editing. And you can go to enable, normally it's disabled, and you can go to any of these. I recommend doing connected, or enable, both of those work fine, depending on the purpose. And then you can also enable with O. You can see this will just, pressing O will toggle through the options. So now it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on right now. And there's different ways to how it works. So basically what it is, so I'm selected on this face and I'm grabbing it. And you can see, instead of grabbing just that one face, it's grabbing all of this. Now, since I'm grabbing it, I haven't pressed any buttons after that, I can use my scroll wheel to decide how much this proportional editing works on. So if I scroll it in a tiny bit, then it's just going to work on this face, just this face. If I scroll it out, then it will work on a couple faces around it. It keeps scrolling out, it'll work on like half the cube, or I mean half the sphere, or even more, like that. I can just stretch it. It's called proportional editing, and it's very helpful. So thanks for watching. This is the basic intro to Blender, and yeah, that's just some basic object manipulation tools. And actually, I'm going to say one more thing. Blender is not just a 3D modeling thing. You can make renders. It has the default mode, which is 3D. Has this 3D view mode. Has animation. You can do compositing, which is just like putting clips together and stuff. You can actually make games with it. I've never done that before, but you can. Motion tracking, scripting, so like programming and stuff with it, or to manipulate the objects, UV editing, this is one thing, video editing, and yeah, so you can kind of use this as a video editor, but mostly it's used as 3D modeling. Yeah, that's Blender for you. Thanks for watching.